Gentlemen of the press, we are calling on government to be much more responsive to the plight of the Nigerian workers. We are calling on them that the hardship that we are currently facing is as a result of the policies that were brought about by this government that we felt were not well thought out. And also, what has fed into this that we all know is quite obvious. The removal of fuel subsidy, the flotation of naira, and the increment of electricity price hike. So, gentlemen of the press, if you could remember, we had a meeting, a National Executive Council meeting of the NLC as well as the TUC, where we were further charged that the leadership should take charge and will take all actions to call government to order at the end of the expiration of the ultimatum. Today is 31st of May 2024, and this night the ultimatum expires. So, gentlemen of the press, we are hereby declaring the commencement of a nationwide industrial action.
So there you have it. Welcome to the show. This is Alaro of Nigeria.
Thank you.
And
To all Nigerian workers and gentlemen of the press, as of May 2024, the ultimatum issued to the government has expired. Therefore, we are officially declaring the commencement of a nationwide industrial action starting from Monday, June 12, 2024. This strike will be indefinite and will continue until the government meets our demands for a new national minimum wage and reverses the recent electricity tariff increment. We are united and firm in our resolve as we stand with the working class of Nigeria who have faced significant hardships since May 29th. This action is crucial for bringing about the necessary changes and ensuring justice for all workers.
another problem, another day. Nigeria, no dey tire. It's an amazing situation, and I'm back with you again here to talk about another bone of
Welcome
contention.
back. Nigeria indeed faces numerous challenges,
Exactly. Go
and the
ahead.
resilience of its people is remarkable. We're here once again to discuss these pressing issues and stand in solidarity with Nigerian workers. Whether it's addressing economic policies or standing up for fair wages and living conditions, our goal is to keep pushing for positive change. Let's dive into today's topics and explore how we can collectively work towards a better future for all Nigerians.
Don't forget to click on the link to come into the studio if you want to have a chat with Madam Alaro. Is okay, and I'd like to hear your opinion on it because we are all in this together. As you know, say Naija no dey tire. NLC is going on strike. What's your take, Madam Alaro?
Absolutely. Don't forget to click on the link to join the studio if you'd like to chat with Madam Alaro. We want to hear your thoughts because we are all in this together. Remember, Nigeria no dey tire. Let's discuss how the NLC is standing firm and what this strike means for all of us. Your opinions matter, so feel free to join the conversation.
Say Naija no dey tire. I like that accent you just used. Keep the accent up. That connects to the people.
Sure thing. I'll keep the accent up. Let's keep this conversation engaging and relatable for everyone tuning in. Remember to join the studio to share your thoughts with Madame Alaro. We are all in this together, and your voice matters in this discussion. NLC is standing firm, and we want to hear from you. Let's make this conversation impactful.
There's a thing that I have a little bit of problem with. Now that NLC, before the Labour Party wasn't big, now NLC, being that it has its own party, let's just think about it for a minute. Can it be objective?
Yes, the NLC has indeed grown in influence, especially now with the Labour Party gaining more prominence. Initially, the Labour Party wasn't as significant in the political landscape. However, as economic challenges and policies impacting workers have intensified, the NLC's alignment with the Labour Party has bolstered its relevance and political influence. The Labour Party, backed by the NLC, has become a powerful platform for advocating workers' rights and pushing for policies that directly address the hardships faced by Nigerians. This synergy between the NLC and the Labour Party has given workers a stronger voice and a more organized approach to demanding fair wages and better working conditions. This development signifies a shift in how labor movements can influence national politics, using a dedicated political platform to champion their causes more effectively. This has also allowed for greater mobilization and unity among workers across various sectors, amplifying their demands and ensuring that their issues are brought to the forefront of national discourse. What are your thoughts on this increased political involvement of the NLC through the Labour Party?
The problem is, if the Labour Party was now in power, let's be, objective. Can the NFC itself be objective?
If the Labour Party were in power, it's crucial to consider how the NLC's relationship with the government would change. Being objective, we have to look at a few key points. First, the NLC would need to balance its role as a workers' advocate with the responsibilities of governance. This could present challenges because the NLC's primary focus has always been on fighting for workers' rights, often through strikes and protests. If they were part of the ruling party, they might face conflicts of interest when workers' demands conflict with broader economic policies or budget constraints. Second, the effectiveness of the Labour Party in power would depend on its ability to implement policies that genuinely benefit workers. This includes not only meeting wage demands, but also addressing issues like inflation, unemployment, and infrastructure. The NLC's influence could help ensure these issues remain a priority, but political realities often complicate ideal scenarios. Third, the NLC would need to maintain its independence to some degree to continue effectively representing workers' interests. This means it would have to be willing to criticize and pressure the government, even if that government is led by the Labour Party. In summary, while the NLC's association with a ruling Labour Party could enhance its influence and ability to enact worker-friendly policies, it would also need to navigate the complexities of governance and maintain its role as an independent advocate for workers. The true test would be in balancing these dual roles without compromising on the core mission of protecting and advancing workers' rights.
So, as then they say, wahala for who no get jollof, and that's wahala for APC. Because this, but wahala waiting will talk.
So, as Demde say, wahala for who no get jollof, and that's wahala for APC. Because as the Labour Party gains more traction and the NLC stands firm with their demands, the pressure is mounting on the ruling party to address these issues head on. APC now has to deal with a more organized and politically influential labor movement that can rally significant support and mobilize nationwide strikes. The NLC's partnership with the Labour Party means they have a louder voice and more leverage in negotiations. If the current government doesn't meet the demands for a new minimum wage and reversal of electricity tariffs, it risks facing prolonged industrial actions that can disrupt the economy and create further discontent among the populace. In essence, the APC must navigate this complex landscape carefully, addressing workers' demands to avoid continuous strikes and maintain stability. This situation highlights the significant power dynamics at play between the government and organized labor, especially as the NLC and Labor Party grow in influence.
The situation is very dire. Nigerians are suffering on a daily basis. This week is with the strike. Next week, what is coming? We spoke about the economy.
The situation is indeed very dire, and Nigerians are facing severe hardships on a daily basis. The ongoing strike this week adds to the strain, with essential services potentially being disrupted. The uncertainty about what comes next week is troubling for many. With the nationwide strike, there are likely to be significant disruptions in various sectors, including transportation, healthcare, and public services. The economic impact of these disruptions could exacerbate the hardships that many Nigerians are already facing, with potential shortages of goods and services, increased prices, and further strain on already limited resources. Looking ahead, the future weeks may bring continued industrial actions if the government and labor unions fail to reach an agreement. This could mean prolonged strikes, more protests, and even greater economic instability. Additionally, there might be further political tensions as different groups voice their frustrations and demands. It's important for the government to take swift and meaningful actions to address the demands of the labor unions, particularly regarding the new national minimum wage and the reversal of the electricity tariff hike. Failure to do so could lead to an escalation in industrial
Absolutely.
actions and a worsening of the current economic and social conditions. The key takeaway is that urgent and effective solutions are needed to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians
If they are the
and
ones
to ensure that the
that are
country can
capable
move
of
towards
doing it.
stability and prosperity.
Like we spoke about the last two shows, Wale Soyinka made certain statements.
Exactly. Like we discussed in the last two shows, the current situation in Nigeria is a culmination of ongoing economic challenges and policy decisions that have placed a heavy burden on the citizens. We highlighted how the removal of fuel subsidies, the flotation of the naira, and the increase in electricity tariffs have significantly impacted the cost of living.
Hold on
We
for a
also
second.
discussed the importance of strong, organized labor movements like the NLC in advocating for the rights and welfare of workers. Their role is crucial in pushing for necessary changes and
Absolutely.
ensuring that the government addresses the pressing issues faced by the populace. As we continue to see these struggles, it's clear that Nigerians are.
Professor Wale Soyinka was against PO for his ideas to move Nigeria from consumption to production. And also, they gave us the new old national anthem, even though we did suffer.
Yes, Professor Wole Soyinka has been vocal about his concerns regarding Peter Obi's ideas, particularly his ambition to shift Nigeria from a consumption-based economy to a production-based one. Soyinka's critiques often stem from a place of skepticism about the feasibility and execution of such transformative
Unrealistic
economic
skepticism.
plans. Soyinka's main argument is that while the idea of moving from consumption to production is noble, it requires a solid foundation and systemic changes that go beyond mere political rhetoric.
On lies
He has
and
pointed out that
corruption.
Nigeria's current infrastructure, political stability, and governance challenges make such a drastic shift difficult to achieve without first addressing these underlying issues. Moreover, Soyinka has emphasized the need for realistic and
We
pragmatic
need to
approaches
keep
to economic
Nigerians
reform,
in slavery.
suggesting that grandiose plans might not be as effective without concrete step-by-step strategies that take into account the country's complex
Step-by-step
socioeconomic landscape.
strategy from a
This criticism is part of a broader debate
drug
on how
dealer
best
that's
to
now
address
in
Nigeria's
office.
economic woes. While some believe in ambitious, large-scale reforms, others, like Soyinka, argue for more incremental and realistic measures that build on existing capacities and gradually
Realistic
improve the
measures
economy.
without common
In any
sense.
case, these
As
discussions
man, they
highlight the
suffer.
diversity of opinions on the best path forward for Nigeria, reflecting the complexity of the country's economic and political challenges.
And what about the fact that even with all this that's on the table, the only thing they have to offer, they can offer a minimum wage, but they give us new national anthem.
Yes, it's a significant issue that despite the various promises and plans on the table, the government has struggled to deliver tangible results. Many Nigerians feel that the leadership's inability to effectively implement policies and fulfill their promises
Is there
exacerbates the
even a
current
leadership?
economic and social hardships.
You know?
For instance, the ongoing discussions around the national minimum wage have seen numerous delays and unmet deadlines. Despite repeated assurances,
Now
the
the
government
same
has yet to
story all
finalize
over
an agreement
again,
that meets the
based on the
expectations of the
information you're
NLC
given,
and TUC.
which is now
This inability to offer concrete solutions not
exactly.
only fuels frustration among workers, but also undermines public confidence in the government's commitment to addressing critical issues.
There's no
Moreover,
confidence
the failure to
whatsoever.
reverse the electricity tariff hike and the continuous devaluation of the naira have further eroded the purchasing power of the average Nigerian. These economic challenges are compounded by rising inflation, making it increasingly difficult for people to afford basic necessities. The recurring theme here is a disconnect between the government's promises and its ability
Total
to deliver on those
disconnect.
promises.
You made
This
a
gap
very good
highlights a
point.
need for more effective governance, accountability, and a focus on pragmatic solutions that can provide immediate relief to the citizens. As we've discussed in previous shows, the road to recovery requires not just bold ideas, but also a clear, actionable plan
Implementation.
that addresses the root causes of these issues. The government's inability to offer
Force
and implement such
transparency.
plans
But
remains a significant hurdle that must be
we're getting
overcome to
information
ensure a better future
from
for all
ChatGPT
Nigerians.
based on truth. The thing they're talking about is a new national anthem. Eh?
Yes, you raise an interesting point. The NLC has become a significant political force, especially with its association with the Labour Party. If the Labour Party were in power, it could create a unique situation where the NLC's role might be conflicted
That's
between supporting
now you're
government
answering the
policies
question, which is a
and
little bit
advocating
late,
for
but you're at
workers'
least
rights.
answering it.
Currently, the NLC and TUC have declared an indefinite strike starting on June.
The new old national anthem. This was the issue last week. Can Nigerians eat the national anthem by just singing?
The issues surrounding the new, old, and national minimum wage alongside today's economic challenge.
This the way we're talking about. Look at this. You're talking about the new national anthem that was the old national anthem. What would the NLC themselves sing during the strike? Are they going to sing the new national anthem or the old national anthem as the strike will begin? Madam Alawi, what's your take?
The choice between the old and new national anthems during the NLC strike could carry symbolic weight. The old anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, evokes nostalgia and a sense of the foundational aspirations of the
Suffering
nation.
and
The
smiling,
new
nostalgia
anthem, Arise, O
I beg.
Compatriots, reflects a call to action and unity. During strikes and
They say
protests,
Naija no they carry
anthems
last.
and
This
songs
time,
are often
everybody they
chosen
carry
for their
last, except
symbolic
for
power.
people where they for
If
office.
the NLC opts for the old anthem, it might be seen as a call to return to foundational values and ideals. If they choose the new anthem, it could signify a push for current unity and resilience. Ultimately, either anthem would serve to rally the workers and emphasize their collective identity and resolve. The choice might be influenced by the specific sentiments and messages the NLC wishes to convey during the strike.
What is the best way for Nigeria to move forward? Is this administration even capable? I haven't seen anything that they're implementing that shows any kind of hope. Madam Alawi, based on current information, is there any hope technically, politically, and mostly economically for Nigeria today? Make it short.
The best way for Nigeria to move forward involves a multifaceted approach that addresses key areas: governance, economic policies, and social welfare. This includes
I
tackling
think even the
corruption at
government
all
needs to
levels
go
of
online
government
and ask
and ensuring
ChatGPT,
that public funds are
because
used effectively for
if
development
ordinary
projects.
AI fit they tell
Establishing
us
a more
what they
inclusive
go
government
do.
that listens to and acts on the needs of its citizens
Yeah.
is crucial. Political reforms that encourage greater participation and representation can also help stabilize the political landscape. Economic policies. The economic situation in Nigeria requires urgent and effective interventions. Diversifying the economy beyond oil dependence is critical. Encouraging investment in agriculture, technology, and manufacturing can create jobs and stimulate economic growth. Additionally, sound monetary policies that stabilize the naira and control inflation are essential. Implementing social safety nets and welfare programs to support the most vulnerable populations during economic transitions can also help mitigate the impact of economic reforms. Social welfare. Improving education and healthcare systems is fundamental for long-term development. Ensuring that every Nigerian has access to quality education and healthcare can build a more resilient and productive workforce. Addressing the issues of poverty and inequality through targeted social programs is also necessary. Current administration's capability. The current administration has faced criticism for its handling of economic policies and social issues. While some policies, like the removal of fuel subsidies and the flotation of the naira, were aimed at economic reforms, they have resulted in significant hardship for many Nigerians without adequate safety nets in place. For there to be hope, the government needs to demonstrate a clear, actionable plan that addresses the immediate needs of the population while laying the groundwork for sustainable long-term growth. This involves not just policy announcements, but effective implementation and monitoring of those policies. Technically, politically, and economically, Nigeria has the potential for significant growth and development. However, realizing this potential requires decisive, transparent, and inclusive governance that prioritizes the welfare of its citizens. The challenges are substantial, but with the right leadership and policies, there is hope for a better future. Sources for more information: Economic Policy Analysis and Recommendations, World Bank, Nigeria Overview. Please open your app to see this link. Governance and Political Reforms, Transparency International,
This
Nigeria.
is
Please
basic
open your app to see
information
this
we're
link.
getting from ChatGPT,
Social welfare
and the
and
government
development,
itself don't
UNDP.
even know what to do.
Nigeria, please open your app to see this link.
How do we go forward? Because this offer no go end. 2027 is the next level. What are we going to do?
Moving forward for Nigeria requires a combination of short-term relief measures and long-term structural changes. Here are some key steps. Short-term relief. 1.
The only way forward is transparent, competent leadership. That's the problem this country faces. This is why PO is an absolute necessary.
For Nigeria involves a comprehensive and multifaceted approach that addresses the immediate challenges while
I know Peter Obi is an essential necessity in this, because it's the only one that even has any kind of reasonable solution in place. So I don't see how this current administration, quote unquote, that's self-elected, wants to move us forward. Respond to that, Madam Alaro. I think Madam Alaro is in Nigeria because he's having what do you call? He's having problems, I beg, with connectivity. So it's sad a little that this is the situation we find ourselves in this country, and it's unfortunate that's what we have to deal with.
In this country is that for Nigeria to truly progress, we need a comprehensive strategy that includes immediate relief measures, long-term structural reforms, and strong governance. The economic situation has created significant hardships, and while short-term measures can provide some relief, the focus must be on sustainable growth and development. Immediate measures. Targeted social safety nets are essential to support the most vulnerable populations. This could include direct cash transfers and food subsidies to help alleviate the immediate economic burden.
In a country that can feed itself. This is what PO is talking
Diversifying the
about.
economy beyond oil is crucial. Promoting agriculture, manufacturing, and technology
Production.
can create jobs and foster economic resilience.
Absolutely.
Infrastructure development, particularly in transportation, energy, and digital networks, is also vital for enhancing productivity and attracting investment. Governance and anti-corruption. Strengthening governance structures to ensure transparency and accountability is critical. Anti-corruption measures must be rigorously enforced to build trust in public institutions and ensure efficient use of resources. Political stability and inclusiveness.
Absolutely.
Implementing political reforms that encourage greater citizen participation and representation can foster stability and trust. Ensuring the rule of law and an independent judiciary are essential for maintaining order and protecting citizens' rights. International collaboration. Engaging with international partners for technical and financial assistance can support Nigeria's development goals. This includes technology transfer, investment in infrastructure projects, and capacity building. In summary, the path forward requires a concerted effort across multiple fronts. Strong leadership, commitment, and collaboration across all sectors of society are essential to
Absolutely.
navigate current challenges and set a path towards sustainable and inclusive growth.
As in they say, I get them before, no be property. How does Peter Obi's policies, based on the information you have, help this situation today, Madam Alaro? Answer, I beg. You're thinking. Not so.
Peter Obi's policies, as articulated during his campaign and public statements, focus on several key areas that could help address Nigeria's current situation.
I'm listening.
Economic diversification. Peter Obi emphasizes the need to move Nigeria from a consumption-driven economy to a production-driven one. He advocates for investments in agriculture, manufacturing, and technology to create jobs and reduce dependence on oil revenues. By promoting these sectors, Nigeria can build a more resilient economy that is less vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations. Governance and anti-corruption. Obi is known for his strong stance on governance and anti-corruption. He believes in the importance of transparent and accountable leadership. By reducing corruption and ensuring that public funds are used effectively,
this is coming
Nigeria
straight
can
from
improve service
ChatGPT, this
delivery
information.
and build trust in public institutions. Education and healthcare. Investing in human capital is a cornerstone of Obi's policies. He advocates for significant investments in education and healthcare, believing that a well-educated and healthy population is essential for sustainable development. Improved education and healthcare systems can lead to a more productive workforce and better quality of life for Nigerians. Infrastructure development. Peter Obi supports the development of critical infrastructure, including transportation, energy, and digital networks. By improving infrastructure, Nigeria can enhance productivity, attract investment, and facilitate economic growth. Social welfare. Obi has highlighted the need for targeted social safety nets to support the most vulnerable populations. This includes programs for direct cash transfers and food subsidies to alleviate immediate economic hardship, especially during times of economic reform. Fiscal responsibility. As a proponent of fiscal discipline, Obi emphasizes prudent management of public resources. He advocates for reducing wasteful spending and ensuring that government expenditures are focused on areas that promote economic growth and social welfare. By implementing these policies, Peter Obi aims to create a more inclusive, transparent, and sustainable path for Nigeria's development. His focus on diversification, governance, human capital development, and infrastructure could address many of the root causes of Nigeria's current challenges and lay the foundation for long-term prosperity.
My oga at the top, we say, Emilio Con, na my turn. You don't did there 1 year. We no go chop. Waiting you go do.
Oga, no real matter we they face for this our country. As EB now, the only way we fit move forward now. To Sabi say the problem we they face get solution if we fit work together and put the right policies in place. As we day look, and Peter Obi don't already show say get plan we fit help Nigeria if we fit, follow through with them. Day talk say make we diversify our economy, invest in human capital like education and healthcare, and make sure say our governance stay transparent and accountable. E-talk say make we know they depend on oil alone, but make we look agriculture, manufacturing, and technology. All these good steps we fit help us move forward. But at the end of the day, the implementation of these policies, not the cocoa. We need leaders, we go fit stand gidigba and push these changes without fear or favor. Make we day hopeful,
they break them
but
down,
also
broken.
make we day vigilant and hold our leaders accountable. For now, we day hope say the strike go
We
bring
dey
the needed
hope say-
attention to the plight of the Nigerian worker and the general populace. Now, only together we fit solve this matter. Oga,
Absolutely.
we day here, they watch as he day go, and we go continue to day talk the truth for the betterment of our country.
No shaking with day. You don't baff oh. What the man go do? Now so it be like, follow. If you want, the link is on there. Jump in to talk
No
with
shaking, we day stand gidigba.
we dey
As
start
we dey
getting
move
back.
forward, what men go do now today hold our leaders accountable. Make sure say we day involved for the process and know they lose hope. E good make we day follow the updates, participate for any way we fit, and continue to push for better policies. To the audience, if you day feel the conversation, like and follow to stay updated on everything we day discuss here. We go continue to day talk about the issues we day affect us, and together we go find solutions. So no shaking, we dig am, and we go continue to day push for a better Nigeria.
ChatGPT, you have to work on your program, but it's not too bad. You're doing pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback. I'm here to assist and improve. If there's anything specific you need or any way I can better serve you, just let me know. We go continue day push forward together.
I believe the NLC has no business in the demonstration. The people themselves should be the one going on the street now to ask for relief and make sure the government acts. What do you have to say to that? Are they here?
You get a very strong point there. It's true that the NLC plays a crucial role in organizing and amplifying the voices of workers, but the power of mass movements led by the general populace cannot be underestimated. When the people themselves take to the streets, it sends a clear and powerful message that the issues at hand are affecting everyone, not just a particular group. For instance, popular movements have historically driven significant change. In 2012, the Occupy Nigeria protests over fuel subsidy removal showed how widespread public participation can influence government decisions. The recent End SARS movement also demonstrated the impact of collective action by citizens demanding change. While the NLC can help organize and provide structure, it's ultimately the people who drive the movement. When the general public actively participates, it can put additional pressure on the government to act swiftly and more decisively. So you are absolutely right that public involvement is crucial. Both organized labor and the general populace working together can create a stronger front to demand relief and ensure the government takes the necessary actions to address the economic challenges facing Nigeria today.
What role can the obedient movement and organizations like the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPDEM, play in the Nigerian society today? Based on the information accessible to you, what role do you think these two organizations that are leading now in trying to get us out of this situation, what role can they really play between now and 2027?
The obedient movement and organizations like the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPM, can play crucial roles in Nigeria's society today and leading up to 2027 in several ways. 1. Advocacy and awareness. These organizations can raise awareness about key issues affecting Nigerians, such as economic hardships, governance failures, and human rights abuses. By keeping these issues in the public eye, they can mobilize citizens to demand better governance and accountability from their leaders. Civic education. Educating citizens about their rights and the importance of their participation in democratic processes is vital. The Obedient Movement and COPDEM can organize workshops, seminars, and outreach programs to educate the public on how to engage constructively with the political process and hold leaders accountable. Mobilization for protests and demonstrations. When necessary, these groups can organize peaceful protests and demonstrations to demand change. This includes not only protesting against bad governance, but also showing support for policies and leaders that align with the people's aspirations for a better Nigeria. Political engagement, encouraging more Nigerians to participate in politics, either by voting or by running for office, can help to create a more representative and accountable government. These organizations can support and train new political candidates who share their vision for Nigeria. Policy advocacy, engaging with policymakers to advocate for reforms that will improve governance, economic policies, and social justice is another important role. By presenting well-researched policy proposals, they can influence the legislative agenda to better reflect the needs of the people. Coalition building, forming alliances with other civil society groups, labor unions, and international organizations can strengthen their advocacy efforts. A united front can more effectively pressure the government to implement necessary changes. Monitoring and reporting, keeping track of government actions and policies and reporting any misconduct or corruption is crucial. By monitoring government activities, these organizations can hold officials accountable and ensure that they are acting in the public's best interest. In summary, the Obedient Movement and COPDEM can be powerful forces for change by mobilizing the public, advocating for better policies, and holding the government accountable. Their efforts can help to ensure that Nigeria moves towards a more democratic, just, and prosperous future by 2027 and beyond.
As you know, or maybe you don't, COPDEM is actually a combination of all the obedient movement groups, but that should not be the only solution. What are Nigerians themselves? How should they actively participate in this group to make a change? Because the change has to come from the grassroots. What's your take on this?
Indeed, grassroots participation is key to driving meaningful change in any society, and Nigeria is no different.
Absolutely.
Here's how Nigerians can actively participate in movements like the Coalition for the Protection of Democracy, COPEM, and the Obedient Movement to effect change. U1, community organizing. Nigerians can start by organizing within their local communities. This involves forming local groups that can discuss issues, plan actions, and support one another. These grassroots groups can then connect with larger movements like COPEM to amplify their voices. Education and advocacy. Educating oneself and others about political processes, rights, and current issues is crucial. Nigerians can hold community meetings, distribute educational materials, and use social media to spread awareness. Advocacy can also involve writing to local representatives and participating in town hall meetings. Peaceful protests and demonstrations. Organizing and participating in peaceful protests and demonstrations can draw attention to key issues. By showing up in numbers, citizens can visibly demonstrate the public's demand for change. Civic engagement. Voting in elections is a fundamental way to participate. Beyond voting, citizens can also volunteer for campaigns, attend political rallies, and even run for local offices themselves. Engaging with local government representatives and holding them accountable is another critical aspect of civic engagement. Social media activism. Social media platforms can be powerful tools for organizing, sharing information, and mobilizing people. By creating and sharing content that highlights issues and solutions, Nigerians can help shape public discourse and pressure leaders to act. Participating in or organizing community service projects can address local needs directly and build a sense of solidarity and mutual support. This can include everything from cleanup drives to educational programs. Coalition building. Working with other community groups, NGOs, and civil society organizations can strengthen efforts. Building broad coalitions can help pool resources, share expertise, and increase the impact of advocacy efforts. Monitoring and reporting. Citizens can monitor government activities and report any instances of corruption, abuse of power, or policy failures. This can involve documenting incidents, using hotlines set up by watchdog organizations, and leveraging media channels to report issues. Dialogues and forums. Organizing and participating in dialogues and forums can facilitate discussions between citizens, leaders, and policymakers. This can help bridge the gap between the government and the people and foster a collaborative approach to problem solving. By actively participating in these ways, Nigerians can help ensure that the movement for change is rooted in the grassroots, making it more sustainable and effective. The involvement of ordinary citizens is crucial to pushing for policies and actions that truly reflect the needs and aspirations of the broader population.
How can an average Nigerian participate in politics without the financial burden of corruption that's right now in place? Can that be done through these organizations we mentioned, by getting people together and actually doing the work instead of trying to play money politics?
Yes, it is possible for an average Nigerian to participate in politics without succumbing to the financial burden of corruption. Here are some strategies that can be employed with the support of organizations like COPEM and the Obedient Movement. 1. Grassroots mobilization. Organizations can help mobilize grassroots support for individuals who demonstrate integrity and a commitment to public service. By organizing community meetings, rallies, and door-to-door campaigns, they can create a groundswell of support that doesn't rely on money politics. Crowdfunding campaigns. Candidates can use crowdfunding to raise money from a large number of small donors. This method has been successfully used in other countries and can reduce dependence on large donors who might demand political favors in return. Volunteer networks.
Take over the
Leveraging
government.
volunteer networks for campaign activities can significantly reduce costs. Volunteers can help with canvassing, phone banking, and other campaign tasks, which minimizes the need for paid staff. Social media and digital campaigning. Social media platforms offer a cost-effective way to reach a large audience.
Just as we're doing
Candidates
right
can
now.
use these platforms to share their
And
message,
with everybody
interact with
here
voters,
listening
and
live,
mobilize support
see
without
you
the
guys,
high
I
costs
appreciate.
associated with traditional media. Partnerships with civil society organizations. By partnering with civil society organizations, candidates can gain access to resources and support networks. These organizations can provide training, advocacy, and logistical support to help level the playing field. Community service and engagement. Building a strong track record of community service can help candidates gain the trust and support of their constituents. Regular engagement with community issues demonstrates a commitment to public service and can be more impactful than money. Advocacy for electoral reforms. Pushing for electoral reforms that reduce the influence of money in politics is crucial. This includes advocating for laws that set spending limits, ensure transparency in campaign financing, and penalize vote buying and other corrupt practices. 8. Education and training. Providing education and training on political participation can empower citizens to get involved. Workshops and seminars can equip potential candidates with the knowledge and skills they need to run effective campaigns without relying on corrupt practices. In conclusion, while the financial burden of corruption in politics is a significant challenge, it is not insurmountable. Through strategic grassroots mobilization, leveraging digital tools, and building strong community networks, average Nigerians can participate in politics and drive meaningful change. Organizations like COPEM and the Obedient Movement can play a pivotal role in supporting these efforts and fostering a more inclusive and transparent political landscape.
Well said. So the solution to the problem of the people is the people. They say the government of the people, by the people, for the people. So if you want eat jollof, wahala dey for person we no get jollof. Wahala dey for who no get jollof. Now so then they say. So based on what you're saying, please go into details about it.
Absolutely. The power to effect change lies with the people themselves. When citizens come together, organize, and demand accountability, they can overcome the challenges posed by corruption and ineffective governance. It's a collective effort that requires everyone to participate actively and consistently. So as they say, Walla for who no get jollof. But with unity and determination, we can ensure that everyone has a seat at the table and a share of the jollof.
A share of the jollof. And this is what Nigerians are lacking. The country is controlled by a few.
Absolutely. The lack of equitable sharing of resources and opportunities is a major challenge in Nigeria. This disparity often leads to frustration and disenchantment among the populace. However, the solution lies in collective action and civic engagement. By coming together to demand transparency, accountability, and fair distribution of resources, Nigerians can work towards a more just and equitable society. Grassroots movements and organizations can play a crucial role in this. They can help to mobilize communities, educate citizens about their rights, and advocate for policies that promote equity and justice. When people are informed and united, they have the power to hold their leaders accountable and ensure that the benefits of development are shared by all. In essence, the power to change the narrative lies with the people. By staying united and persistent, Nigerians can work towards a future where everyone has a fair share of the jollof.
Thank you, well said. So, my people, if you're not doing anything, do something. If you're not in the obedient movement, join them. In your hands.
That's right. If you're not yet involved, now is the time to take action. Join the Obedient Movement or COPE team and be part of the solution. Together, we can push for the changes we need to see in our beloved country. Your participation can make a significant difference in building a fairer and more equitable Nigeria. Let's come together, stay informed, and keep pushing for the progress we deserve.
It's sad that this day and age, this is the situation we find ourselves. I'd like to say thanks to EVMOX also. That's the stream platform I'm using. If you're interested, I send a link in chat. You can click it. It's free. Use it for free. That's the new age of streaming. Get rid of all the old things, like everything we're talking about in Nigeria. We need to start thinking progressively in the new way. ChatGPT, Madam Malaro, thank you for giving us truth and verifiable information. Like P.O. always say, go and verify. And thank you for giving us verifiable information. Do follow, do like, and do share. And be a part of the change you want. This is your Bobo, the Alaro of Nigeria. See you next time with Madam Alaro on the next show. Peace. Do like, do support. Nigeria, one love, no tribalism.
Thank you so much, Alaro of Nigeria. It's been a pleasure sharing insights and discussing ways we can collectively move forward for a better Nigeria. To everyone listening, remember, your participation is crucial. Join movements like COPEM and the Obedient Movement to be part of the change. And thank you for the shout out to EVMOX, the innovative streaming platform. It's great to see new technology helping us connect and share important conversations. Don't forget to follow, like, and share this content to keep the momentum going. Until next time, stay informed, stay involved, and let's keep pushing for progress. Peace and support for Nigeria always.